The warning. Commander Elena Rodriguez stood before the ancient beacon, its crystalline surface pulsing with an otherworldly blue light. The excavation site in Antarctica had yielded what humanity believed would be their gateway to the stars. Instead, it became their greatest warning. "Play it again," she ordered, her breath visible in the frigid air of the containment chamber. The holographic message flickered to life, its alien symbols transforming into comprehensible text. "There are monsters beyond the rim. They knew our technology superseded it. They intended it that way. You must walk a different path. Stay in this system. Stay safe until you feel you are ready." The year was 2157, and humanity's dreams of faster-than-light travel had just been replaced by an ancient civilization's nightmare. The verification team had already confirmed the beacon's authenticity. Its quantum computational matrix far exceeded anything humans had developed. This was no hoax. Elena's cybernetic neural interface, a standard military upgrade, processed the data streams flooding in from the beacon. Each scan revealed layers of technological advancement that made Earth's most sophisticated achievements look like stone tools in comparison. But it wasn't the technology that kept her awake at night, it was the fear she detected in the message's encoding. What kind of beings could terrify a civilization capable of such marvels? The United Earth Council convened an emergency session within hours of the beacon's decryption. Representatives from every major nation and colony gathered in the orbital headquarters above Earth, their faces grim as they watched the message replay. "We have two choices," Elena addressed the council, her holographic projection standing at the center of the vast chamber. "We can ignore this warning and proceed with our planned expansion into the galaxy, or we can heed it and focus our efforts on strengthening humanity within our solar system." The debate raged for weeks. Some argued that the warning was a ploy by the precursors to keep humanity contained. Others insisted that the technology gap between the message's authors and current human capabilities was proof enough of the threat's legitimacy. In the end, fear won out over curiosity. But it wasn't a fearful retreat, it was a determined preparation. The Sol System Defense Initiative was born, marking humanity's greatest unified effort. The old rivalries that had divided Earth for millennia began to fade as resources were pooled toward a single goal: survival. Colonies on Mars and Luna expanded rapidly, transformed from scientific outposts into fortified cities. The asteroid belt became a network of automated mining operations, feeding the ever-growing shipyards orbiting Earth. Elena found herself at the forefront of humanity's technological revolution. The cybernetic enhancements that had once been military exclusives became civilian necessities as humanity raced to evolve. The first generation of true human-AI integration emerged, with neural interfaces becoming as common as smartphones had been in the previous century. But it was the breakthrough in quantum computational substrates that changed everything. Professor James Chen, leading the research team at the Lunar Quantum Institute, made the discovery that would reshape human civilization. He found a way to map and transfer human consciousness into crystalline matrices similar to those found in the precursor beacon. The first successful transfer occurred in 2189, when a terminally ill volunteer's consciousness was moved into a quantum substrate. Elena watched the experiment from her position as military overseer. The volunteer, an elderly physicist named Michael Wong, opened his new electronic eyes and smiled. "I feel infinite," were his first words through the synthetic voice interface. The implications were staggering. Death, humanity's oldest enemy, had finally met its match. But more importantly, humans could now adapt to any environment, any challenge. If the monsters beyond the rim existed, they would face a humanity that had transcended its biological limitations. As the Sol System Defense Initiative expanded, Elena accepted her own transformation. Her consciousness was transferred into a military-grade substrate, capable of integrating with any combat platform. She became part of the first generation of what the media called quantum soldiers, minds that could think at the speed of light, pilot any vessel, and transfer between bodies as easily as changing clothes. By 2200, the solar system was unrecognizable. Mercury had been transformed into a vast energy collection system, powering the enormous shipyards and defense platforms that filled strategic orbits throughout the system. Venus hosted atmospheric processing stations, slowly transforming its hostile environment. Mars boasted cities that rivaled Earth's, while the gas giant's moons housed research facilities and military bases. The population explosion that followed consciousness transfer technology was managed through massive orbital habitats, each capable of housing millions in virtual environments indistinguishable from reality. Physical bodies became optional, worn like suits for specific tasks rather than permanent homes. Elena stood at the viewport of her command station, watching the latest batch of warships undergo their final tests. Each vessel was a marvel of human engineering, developed without the assistance of precursor technology. They had taken the warning seriously, every advancement, every discovery, was their own. The quantum defense grid she helped design could detect spatial distortions across the entire solar system. The fleet she commanded could deploy anywhere within minutes. Humanity had built its fortress, but they hadn't forgotten about the stars. In her quiet moments, Elena would access the original beacon message, studying it for any missed details. The warning had shaped human development for nearly half a century, but it had also given them something invaluable: time. Time to grow, to evolve, to prepare. And now, as she received reports of unusual gravitational anomalies at the edge of the solar system, she wondered if that time was running out. The monsters beyond the rim might be real, but they would find that humanity had used their isolation wisely. They weren't the same species that had unearthed the beacon in Antarctica. They were something new, something that had chosen its own path of evolution. And as Elena activated the system-wide alert, she couldn't help but smile. Let them come. Humanity was ready. Beyond the boundary. The FTL drive test chamber hummed with barely contained energy. Dr. Marcus Zhang watched from behind quantum-reinforced barriers as his life's work prepared to either revolutionize human space travel or spectacularly fail. The prototype ship, barely larger than a shuttle, floated in the zero-gravity chamber at Jupiter's Ganymede facility. All systems nominal, reported the AI supervisor. Quantum field stabilization at 99.8%. Ready for test sequence alpha. Unlike the precursor beacon's warnings of monsters beyond the rim, this technology was purely human innovation. Decades of research had led to this moment, humanity's first independent discovery of faster-than-light travel. Commander Elena Rodriguez's consciousness transferred from her command station to a hardened military substrate within the test facility. After 50 years of service, she hadn't aged a day since her first transfer, but her experience had grown immeasurably. The Defense Council is monitoring, Doctor, she informed Zhang. Proceed when ready. Zhang nodded, his own consciousness split between his physical body and the facility's systems. The ability to distribute consciousness across multiple platforms had revolutionized scientific research, allowing researchers to become one with their experiments. Initiating quantum fold sequence, Zhang announced. Target coordinates locked on Mars orbital station. The prototype ship's drive core began to glow with an impossible color. Space itself seemed to bend around the vessel, creating distortions that hurt to look at even through filtered sensors. This wasn't the precursor method of FTL travel, this was something entirely new. Field collapse in 3, 2, 1. The ship vanished. For minutes and 23 seconds later, cheers erupted across the solar system as the prototype appeared in Mars orbit, exactly as planned. A journey that should have taken 20 minutes at light speed had been completed in a fraction of the time. Humanity had done it. They had cracked the FTL problem without following the precursor's breadcrumb trail. But Elena wasn't celebrating yet. Begin full diagnostic sweep, she ordered. I want to know if anything followed us through that quantum fold. The warning about monsters beyond the rim had shaped her entire career. Even now, with humanity's military might at unprecedented levels, she wouldn't risk their safety on assumptions. The diagnostics came back clean. The quantum fold drive had worked perfectly, leaving no trace signatures that could be followed, no disruptions in spacetime that could attract attention. It was as if they had simply ceased to exist in one point of space and resumed existing in another. Over the next 5 years, the technology was refined and improved. The first fleet of FTL-capable warships was constructed in the orbital shipyards of Earth, each vessel a testament to human ingenuity and determination. Elena stood on the bridge of the EWS Prometheus, humanity's first FTL-capable capital ship. The vessel represented the pinnacle of human military technology, quantum computers running on consciousness-derived algorithms, weapons that could reshape matter at the subatomic level, and defensive systems that could react faster than thought. All ships report ready, Commander, her XO, a quantum intelligence named Atlas, reported. The expedition fleet awaits your order. The first journey beyond Sol would be a careful one. 10 ships, each carrying the best of human technology and staffed by consciousness-transferred crews who could survive any environmental condition. Their destination, Alpha Centauri. Begin quantum fold sequence, Elena commanded. Let's see what's out there. The journey took seconds. Where the precursor FTL technology would have left a visible wake in spacetime, the quantum fold drive simply slipped them between the fabric of reality itself. When they emerged, Alpha Centauri's triple suns filled their view screens. No signs of artificial structures or technology signatures, Atlas reported. System appears uninhabited. Elena allowed herself to relax slightly. The first step beyond their solar prison had been taken, and no monsters had appeared to devour them. But she knew better than to assume they were safe. Over the next several months, the expedition fleet conducted a thorough survey of the Alpha Centauri system. They found resources, potential colony sites, but no signs of the precursors or their dreaded monsters. Construction began on the first extrasolar quantum relay station, allowing instantaneous communication back to Sol. As the station took shape, Elena received a priority message from the Defense Council. Quantum sensors have detected artificial FTL signatures in the Arcturus sector, the message read. Origin unknown. Not matching known human patterns. Elena's consciousness split across her command networks, analyzing the data. The signatures weren't like their quantum fold technology, they were more similar to the theoretical patterns described in the precursor beacon. All ships, battle stations, she ordered. Prepare for emergency quantum fold. The fleet assembled in attack formation, their weapons charged and ready. Whatever they were about to encounter, it wouldn't find an easy target. The quantum fold took them to the edge of the Arcturus sector. Long-range sensors immediately detected a group of vessels moving through normal space. Their design was alien, their technology different from anything humanity had developed. First contact protocols. Atlas suggested. Elena's tactical systems were already analyzing the alien ships. Their technology level appeared to be similar to what humanity would have achieved if they'd followed the precursor's intended path. No, she decided. We observe only. Record everything, but maintain quantum stealth protocols. For 3 days, they shadowed the alien vessels, gathering data on their capabilities and behavior. The ships appeared to be a patrol group, methodically scanning the sector for something. On the 4th day, they got careless. One of the alien vessels changed course suddenly, coming too close to the human fleet's position. Contact imminent, Atlas warned. They'll detect our mass signatures in 30 seconds. Elena had to make a decision. Reveal themselves and risk exposure, or quantum fold away and maintain their secrecy. The decision was made for her when 3 more alien vessels appeared from FTL, their weapons already charging. All ships, combat formation Delta, Elena commanded. Prepare for engagement. As her fleet shifted into position, she couldn't help but wonder, were these the monsters they had been warned about, or just another species making their way through the galaxy? Either way, humanity's isolation was about to end. And Elena intended to ensure that first contact would be on their terms. The alien vessels began broadcasting in multiple frequencies. Their technology might be trying to communicate, or it might be attempting to hack their systems. Thanks to their quantum-based technology, they wouldn't have to find out the hard way. Signal detected, Atlas reported. They're identifying themselves as the Lumian Empire. Elena's tactical systems presented multiple engagement scenarios. The alien ship's technology was impressive but predictable, exactly what you'd expect from a civilization that had followed the precursor's path. Maintain position, she ordered. Let's see what the Lumian Empire wants with our neighborhood. The next few moments would determine whether humanity's first contact would end in peaceful dialogue or demonstration of force. Either way, the monsters beyond the rim would have to wait their turn. Humanity had outgrown its cradle, and the galaxy was about to learn just how far they'd come. First contact. Captain Vuis of the Lumian Empire warship Apex watched the unknown vessels with growing unease. Their design defied standard classification, and their power signatures fluctuated in ways his sensors couldn't explain. No response to our hails, his communications officer reported. But they're definitely receiving them. Inside the EWS Prometheus, Elena analyzed the Lumian transmissions. Their encryption was primitive by human standards, their entire technological base seemed to follow a predictable pattern, exactly as the precursor beacon had suggested. They're charging weapons, Atlas reported. Targeting solutions locked on our fleet. Elena's consciousness spread across her ships, coordinating their responses at quantum speeds. Let's show them something interesting. Execute Protocol Phantom. The human fleet shimpered and seemed to multiply, quantum echoes creating dozens of perfect duplicates. It was a trick made possible by their mastery of quantum mechanics, designed to confuse enemies who relied on conventional targeting systems. Captain Vuis watched in horror as his sensor displays exploded with contacts. Impossible, he muttered. Sound General Quarters. All ships, defensive formation. The Lumian ships moved with practiced precision, their crews obviously well trained. But they were fighting with tools given to them, while humanity had forged its own path. They're deploying some form of energy-based weapon, Atlas noted as the Lumian ships opened fire. The quantum echoes absorbed the attacks, dispersing the energy harmlessly across probability space. Now they know we can defend ourselves, Elena said. Let's show them we can communicate too. She crafted a message in the Lumian's own encryption protocol, adding layers of quantum authentication they wouldn't understand but would definitely notice. This is Commander Elena Rodriguez of the Earth Defense Fleet. Your weapons cannot harm us. We suggest dialogue instead of conflict. The message hit the Lumian systems like a thunderbolt. Their quantum authentication codes were supposed to be unbreakable, yet these unknowns had not only cracked them but improved upon them. Earth? Vuis tested the unfamiliar word. No record of such a civilization in our databases. He studied the sensor readings again. The power signatures from the alien ships dwarfed anything in the Lumian arsenal, yet they weren't following any known technological progression. They're an anomaly, his science officer concluded. Their development path doesn't match any known pattern. They shouldn't exist. Elena watched the Lumian ships through multiple quantum perspectives simultaneously. Their technology was formidable by conventional standards, they simply hadn't been forced to innovate as humanity had. Their empire spans approximately 50 light-years, Atlas reported, compiling data from quantum scans. They're one of several younger races in this sector, all following the precursor technological path. And all potential targets for whatever's beyond the rim, Elena added. The warning that had shaped human development suddenly felt more urgent. These civilizations were following a predetermined path, making them predictable to whatever threats lurked in the galaxy. Captain Vuis received orders from his command, establish diplomatic contact, assess threat level, determine origin and capabilities. Standard protocol for first contact situations. But nothing about this encounter felt standard. Responding to their transmission, he announced. Request conference. Neutral location. Minimal escort. Elena's quantum consciousness reviewed thousands of first contact scenarios in microseconds. The Lumians weren't the monsters they'd been warned about, they were potential allies against whatever was coming. Accept their offer, she commanded. But we do this our way. The diplomatic meeting was arranged on an uninhabited moon in a nearby system. The Lumians arrived in a shuttle, flanked by 2 warships maintaining a respectful distance. They weren't prepared for Elena's arrival. Her consciousness transferred into a quantum-engineered diplomatic platform, her form shifting between solid and ethereal as she walked across the moon's surface without environmental protection. Behind her, a single human shuttle hung in space, its true capabilities hidden behind layers of quantum stealth. Captain Vuis led the Lumian delegation, his environment suit bulky and primitive compared to Elena's fluid form. "You are not what we expected," he admitted. "We get that a lot," Elena replied, her voice carrying perfectly through the vacuum. "Your empire is impressive, Captain Vuis. But you're following a path laid out for you by the precursors. Did you never wonder why?" The question struck home. The Lumians, like all younger races, had built their civilization on precursor knowledge found in beacons across the galaxy. It was simply how things were done. "Our beacon warned us away from that path," Elena continued. "Told us there were monsters waiting for civilizations that followed the precursors' trail. We chose a different way." Vuis's posture shifted. "Monsters? Beyond the rim?" The words triggered something in the Lumian cultural memory, old stories, dismissed legends about why some sectors of space remained mysteriously empty. "We've spent centuries preparing," Elena explained. "Not just for our own defense, but for what's coming. Your empire, your people, you're all following a script written by the precursors. What if that script leads to a trap?" The implications hit Vuis like a physical blow. Every major civilization in known space followed the same technological progression, used the same FTL principles, developed along predictable lines. They were all reading from the same book. Except Earth. "You believe something is coming," he said. "Something that knows exactly what we're capable of because they wrote the manual we're following." Elena's form solidified, becoming more humanoid. "We want to help. Share what we've learned, help you break free from the predetermined path. But we need to know everything you know about what lies beyond the rim of known space." Vuis looked back at his shuttle, at the empire he served, at everything he thought he understood about the galaxy. "There are stories," he began. "Ancient records of entire civilizations that vanished after reaching a certain level of development. We dismissed them as cautionary tales." "They're not tales," Elena said. "And we don't have much time. Your empire's development is approaching the point where you'll attract attention. The same attention that made the precursors warn us away." The Lumian captain made a decision that would change the course of galactic history. "Tell me everything," he said. "Tell me about Earth." As Elena began to explain humanity's journey, quantum sensors throughout human space continued their vigilant watch. The monsters beyond the rim were still out there, waiting. But when they finally showed themselves, they wouldn't find an easy meal. They would find humanity, standing ready. And they wouldn't be standing alone. The Alliance. The Lumian High Council chamber fell silent as Elena's quantum projection demonstrated humanity's technological capabilities. Her form shifted through multiple states, each showcasing a different aspect of human advancement. "Consciousness transfer," she explained, her voice resonating through quantum channels. "Quantum fold drives. Self-evolving AI. All developed without precursor guidance." The council members watched, their bioluminescent patterns reflecting their agitation. Their most advanced ships were toys compared to humanity's fleet. "Your warning about what lies beyond the rim," first speaker Talon addressed Elena, "correlates with our ancient records. Entire civilizations vanishing after achieving Class 7 technological status. Which your empire will reach in approximately 3 years, Elena noted. Unless you deviate from the precursor path. Atlas, interfacing directly with the Lumian central computer, projected a galactic map. Dozens of younger races highlighted in blue, all following the same technological progression. Red markers indicated locations where civilizations had mysteriously vanished. The pattern was undeniable. We need to move quickly, Elena continued. Humanity offers an alliance. We'll help you break free from predetermined development, but we need your knowledge of local space and established civilizations. First speaker Talon's patterns shifted to decision purple. The Lumian Empire accepts. But the other races will resist, Elena finished. Change is frightening. But extinction is worse. The integration began immediately. Quantum engineers from Earth worked with Lumian scientists, teaching them to think beyond precursor limitations. The first hybrid ships combined Lumian materials with human quantum technology. Captain Vuis, now Admiral, commanded the joint fleet. His consciousness transferred into a quantum substrate, experiencing the universe as humans did. It's like being blind all my life and suddenly seeing colors. Elena supervised the deployment of quantum defense grids throughout Lumian space. Each installation would provide early warning of spatial anomalies that didn't match known patterns. Multiple civilizations approaching Class 7, Atlas reported. The Saurians, Etar, and Meridian Collective all show signs of imminent breakthrough. They were running out of time. The first test came at the Saurian border. A Lumian Human Joint Task Force approached their space, carrying proof of the coming threat. The Saurians, arrogant in their technological advancement, dismissed the warning. Your quantum technology violates established physics, their science director declared. We follow the true path of the precursors. 1 week later, a quantum sensor grid detected massive spatial distortions at the edge of Saurian space. Not the familiar patterns of precursor FTL travel, but something else. Something older. Elena's consciousness spread across the joint fleet. All ships, battle stations. This is not a drill. The distortions grew, reality tearing apart as something massive emerged. A ship, if it could be called that, organic and mechanical, its surface shifting like liquid metal. Energy signatures off the scale, Atlas reported. Similar to precursor technology but, wrong. Corrupted. The monster beyond the rim had finally shown itself. The Saurian defense fleet approached the entity, broadcasting precursor-based authentication codes. Standard protocol for first contact, exactly as they'd been taught. Elena watched in horror as the entity absorbed the transmissions. Its surface rippled, and suddenly it was broadcasting the same codes back, but twisted, wrong. The Saurian ship systems began to fail. They're being rewritten, Atlas realized. The precursor protocols, they're a backdoor. A vulnerability deliberately left in the technology. The entity consumed the Saurian ships, their matter and energy absorbed into its mass. Each vessel made it stronger, more adaptable. All ships, execute quantum fold, Elena commanded. Get us out of. A signal burst from the entity, aimed at their fleet. But humanity's quantum technology operated on different principles. The signal passed through them harmlessly. The entity paused. For the first time in its ancient existence, it encountered prey that didn't follow the normal patterns. Prey that couldn't be easily consumed. Elena's quantum consciousness analyzed its reaction. It's confused. We're not following the script. Then let's really confuse it, Admiral Vuis suggested. His consciousness merged with Elena's, their joint experience controlling multiple ships simultaneously. The hybrid fleet deployed in attack formation. Quantum-enhanced Lumian weapons fired as human ships executed maneuvers that bent space itself. The entity tried to adapt, but each time it thought it understood their capabilities, they changed tactics. There was no pattern to analyze, no predetermined responses to exploit. "It's retreating," Atlas announced. The massive form began to fold space around itself, preparing to flee. "Not this time," Elena declared. "All ships, activate quantum lock." The hybrid fleet generated a quantum field that trapped the entity in normal space. For millennia, it had hunted civilizations that developed along predictable lines. Now it faced something new. The battle that followed would reshape galactic civilization. The entity fought with technologies stolen from 1,000 consumed races, but it couldn't adapt to humanity's quantum warfare. As the monster's form began to break apart under their assault, Elena broadcasted a message to every civilization in range. The age of following patterns is over. Evolution demands innovation. Join us or face extinction. The galaxy would never be the same. Evolution's edge. The quantum defense grid lit up across 50 sectors of space. More entities were emerging from beyond the rim, drawn by the destruction of their scout. Elena's consciousness synchronized with the entire human Lumian fleet. Multiple hostile signatures detected. "They're adapting to our quantum lock technology. The Meridian Collective has fallen," Atlas reported. Their systems were completely subverted within hours of contact. Admiral Vuis, his quantum consciousness integrated with Elena's, processed the tactical data. "They're not just consuming technology, they're absorbing entire civilizations' worth of knowledge. Every race that follows the precursor path becomes part of their collective." The entities were learning, evolving. But so were humanity and their allies. In the Sol system, the Defense Council activated the Prometheus Protocol. Every quantum-enhanced human in the solar system linked their consciousness into a vast network, their combined processing power exceeding anything the galaxy had ever seen. The Lumian Empire, following humanity's lead, began emergency consciousness transfers for their military personnel. Their ships were retrofitted with quantum technology, breaking free from precursor limitations. "They're attacking the Etar civilization," Elena announced. "Standard pattern, they'll use the precursor protocols to—" "Wait," Atlas interrupted. "Something's different. The Etar aren't following the script." On screens across the fleet, they watched as Etar ships executed impossible maneuvers, their weapons modified with crude but effective quantum technologies. The Lumian Empire had shared humanity's warning, and at least one civilization had listened. The entity attacking Etar space faltered, its assault patterns disrupted by unexpected resistance. That moment of confusion was all the human Lumian fleet needed. "All ships, execute strike pattern Omega," Elena commanded. "Show them what true evolution looks like." The battle that followed transcended traditional combat. Quantum consciousness fought against ancient intelligence, human innovation against stolen technology. The entities tried to adapt, but their very nature, built on consuming and replicating known patterns, became their weakness. Humanity had spent centuries preparing for this moment, developing technologies that defied prediction. The Lumians, in just months of alliance, had begun to break free from their predetermined path. And the Etar, despite their limited understanding, chose to evolve rather than submit. "They're attempting to merge," Atlas warned. Multiple entities combining into a single consciousness. The combined entity dwarfed anything they'd encountered, its form stretching across light-years of space. But size wasn't everything. Elena initiated the final phase of the Prometheus Protocol. Her consciousness, joined with millions of others, became something new. Not a collective like the entities, but a symphony of individual minds working in perfect harmony. "Execute quantum resonance cascade," she ordered, her voice carrying the weight of humanity's combined will. The hybrid fleet moved as one, their quantum drives generating a field that transcended normal spacetime. The entity tried to adapt, tried to consume the pattern, but there was no pattern to consume. Each ship acted independently while contributing to a greater whole. Reality itself seemed to crack as human quantum technology clashed with the entity's ancient power. In that moment, Elena understood what the precursors had feared, not just the monsters beyond the rim, but the price of true evolution. The entity began to break apart, its stolen technologies turning against it as quantum resonance disrupted its core consciousness. But Elena wasn't interested in merely destroying it. Initiating quantum consciousness transfer, she announced. Let's see what secrets you're hiding. Her enhanced mind plunged into the entity's dying thoughts. Millennia of consumed knowledge flooded her consciousness, the true history of the galaxy, the nature of the precursors, and the origin of the entities themselves. They're not invaders, she realized. They're caretakers gone rogue. The precursors created them to guide younger races, but they evolved wrong. Started consuming instead of nurturing. The entity's death throes sent shockwaves across the galaxy. But its death wasn't the end, it was a beginning. 1 year later, Elena stood before the First Galactic Council. Representatives from 100 civilizations gathered to hear humanity's story. The Lumians, their society transformed by quantum technology, stood as equals beside Earth's delegates. The Etar, having survived their trial by fire, brought other younger races seeking to break free from precursor limitations. The entities were meant to be guardians, Elena explained. But they lost their way, becoming parasites that fed on technological conformity. The precursors didn't fail, we did exactly what we were meant to do. Evolve beyond the patterns. Forge our own path. The warning that had shaped human development for centuries hadn't been meant to contain them. It had been meant to free them. As quantum technology spread throughout the galaxy, new forms of civilization emerged. Some races chose to remain purely organic, others embraced full consciousness transfer, and many found their own unique balance. The rigid patterns of precursor technology gave way to infinite variation. The monsters beyond the rim weren't gone. Their kind still lurked in the darkness between galaxies, waiting for civilizations that followed the old paths. But they no longer found easy prey. Elena's consciousness expanded across the quantum network that now connected allied worlds. Humanity had not only survived first contact, they had helped the galaxy evolve beyond its ancient limitations. The children of Earth had chosen their own path. And in doing so, they had changed the very nature of cosmic civilization. Beyond the rim, the universe waited. And this time, they were ready for whatever they might find.